Coming up on today's show, WrestleMania Backlash is a 5-match show.
That is incorrect, Ryan. We're going to be doing a 30-minute show on Eva Marie today.
Okay, 2 Samoans make a team. 3 Samoans and Paul Heyman make a SWAT team.
Hopefully there's another video package of Eva Marie tonight on Raw.
New Japan postpones major shows.
Not sure why you're avoiding the biggest headline of the day, Ryan. All red everything.
A new guest announced for Austin's Broken Skull Sessions.
Ryan, the Evolution is coming. Some of us already did.
And Karl attempts the Daily Wrestling News Show Gauntlet and more on this 94th episode of the Daily Wrestling News Show. This is the Daily Wrestling News for May 10th, 2021. We are powered by the Eastern Observer. My name is Ryan Joy, and I'm coming to you live from Minutes to Bell Time Studio B, Chicago Lake, within the Empire State's Adirondack Park. And I'm joined today by the host of Pro Wrestling Pick'em and the head of the Eva Marie fan club, Mr. Karl. Al, did you get all your headlines in, or did you miss one there?
I got one. All the jokes are there. I'm excited for tonight. Things are looking up.
Yeah.
I apologize, Mama Joy. I'm sorry. You're right. I was raised better than that. I'm sorry.
She gave me feedback on that. She loves it when you call her that because that's what our high school friends used to call her. So
really, Mama?
Yeah. So there you go. All right. Well, I want to kick things off by talking about Smackdown from last week. We hardly ever get a chance to talk about Smackdown on the Monday morning show, but a lot happened. Jimmy Uso is back.
Yeah, Jimmy came back, and the embrace, him and his brother, that was fun. They that was real. They hadn't seen each other, since that very moment, which sure is not true, but whatever. But yeah, the handshake with Roman, and he stood up for his brother. The whole thing was Seth Rollins, and Seth got pissed. Now we're seeing this again, and Jimmy should know what happens when you don't fall in line here. He witnessed it firsthand in Hell in a Cell. He was the one that caused Jay to quit the Hell in a Cell match. So,
do you think we play this back?
I'm sorry, what was that?
Do you think we play this back and we get Jimmy Uso versus Roman?
I think at some point. It looks like that's where we're going. Yeah, it's
or Jimmy versus Jay.
Yeah, that's yeah. I think this. It could go both ways. I think it'd be fun if they all were together for a bit, but maybe a little bit down the line. I think it'd be more Jimmy versus Jay than Jimmy versus Roman this time, though.
Well, I kind of hope that the arc is they fight each other and then they form the unit and then they go forward like that. That's kind of what I. So long term.
Now we're seeing the same thing we did last year, though. So I think that's the problem. Yeah, I think they need to switch it up a bit. And maybe Jimmy just stays rogue. He just keeps on, just like Kevin Owens, just keep on getting his ass kicked and then just eventually start something else.
Okay. Well, all of that led to Cesaro getting his WrestleMania Backlash match. I wasn't sure if it was going to happen with the whole Seth Rollins things continuing and stuff, but Cesaro is going to get Roman. He beat Seth Rollins again on SmackDown, and now he's got his match with Roman.
Yeah, and that's what's making Roman upset because Jimmy was the reason that Seth lost that match. He super kicked him on the outside.
Yeah.
So Cesaro, Jimmy's he was just protecting his brother. He was standing up for his brother. Seth pushed Jay, and I think they're one of those brothers where when you push one, the other one feels the pain. So Jimmy felt that, and he wanted kick Seth's head off, and it turned into a pin for Cesaro. So that's where the show started, and that's where the rift lies right now, and why Jimmy's not falling in line. Now Roman's got to clean up after Jimmy's mess, and this is what Jay had to learn.
Yeah, and you fast forward all the way. This was the story of the show. SmackDown's tight like this, where they have a beginning, a middle, and an end to their show, and it usually features the same characters, and that's what we saw here. So started Jimmy's back. We have an instant riff. And then you have the conversations in the back about we need to get Jimmy in line. And then at the end of the show, Jimmy comes out. Jimmy leaves.
Yeah.
But then when Cesaro jumps Roman from behind, Jay comes in, and then Jimmy comes in. But Cesaro leaves them all running, or all laying. So Cesaro walks out of SmackDown on top. But Jimmy Uso did come to the defense of Roman and Jay, or maybe just Jay.
Maybe that's what it is. He probably is just Jay. So that's and so Jimmy's playing both sides of the coin here, and he's going to have to make a choice at some point.
Right.
In the meantime, again, I said this last Tuesday on the Central Wrestling podcast. I feel horrible for Cesaro because you know what? This is what everybody has been waiting for God knows how long. Is Cesaro in a main event in a championship match, and he has zero chance of winning. Like, I would have loved to have seen him against the environmental Daniel Bryan. Then like, okay, maybe Cesaro has a shot here. But he's got zero. It's the same thing. I compared it to when finally gave Rusev the championship match against AJ Styles at the Elimination Chamber before WrestleMania 34, where Styles versus Nakamura was already booked.
Right.
Like, you're finally giving us Rusev in the spot that we want him in, and it's pointless.
Right. So you're not picking Cesaro to win this
No,
match?
I'm not even remote. I'm not picking Roman. I'm never picking. I guarantee that's promise, guaranteed, whatever. I'm probably not going to pick against Roman Reigns this entire season of Pro Wrestling Pick'em. There is absolutely zero reason to.
Okay. Well, we'll see if anybody makes changes your mind on that by the end of the season. But there's nobody in sight. Nobody in sight.
Yeah, and SummerSlam's always a big show, and then Survivor Series, if they do champion versus champion, if he's still at that point, he's got a chance to lose if the belt's not on the line. But then all of a sudden, like, you're taking his steam away. Like, he's supposed to be unbeatable, Yeah,
and he is for the most part. It seems like.
Yeah.
The other news coming out of SmackDown, though, the Mysterios are getting their title shot at WrestleMania Backlash against the Dirty Dogs, and Dominic got a win over Dolph Ziggler on the show. So, man, it seems we could have that father-son team. This is not a show. This is not a match that made WrestleMania, but it is making the Backlash.
Yeah, and good for them. Good for Dom. There goes Dominic Mysterio. The Raw is still strong in Dominic Mysterio. He got the roll up for the win on Dolph Ziggler. And they have a shot. There's no reason why you can't give them Mysterios right now. This is a toss-up match. I honestly don't know. I'll probably go root to Ziggler. They're the seasoned vets. They're the Dirty Dogs. They're the ones that have been there, been wrestling forever. But there's no reason why the Griffies of wrestling can't make history here. I think that would be a lot of fun. I would have called that at WrestleMania if they would have put it on Mania. So,
yeah, it's a little. I think that's the backlash. The backlash is we didn't put us on Mania. Now we're going to take the titles.
Yeah, that's a great point. There's your swaying point right there. Yeah.
Now, a WrestleMania rematch that is not happening on WrestleMania Backlash is Nia Jax and Shayna Baszler versus Tamina and Natalya. That's happening on SmackDown next week.
Yeah.
So this is another situation where I think a lot of people are watching Nia Jax and Shayna and trying to figure out when those titles are going to turn, and they've been feuding with basically everybody on both rosters. They have a program with Mandy and Dana on one show and Tamina and Natalya on this show. So it's hard to say, one is not ending, it doesn't seem like. So it's hard to say that they're going to lose, but.
Yeah, but they've gained 3 consecutive wins now, right? They won a non-title tag match, and then Natalya beat one of them, Tamina beat one of them. They're on a little bit of a win streak, and I think Reggie caused some of these problems, but he might be the wild card here. So just like he was, I think he was a wild card at WrestleMania. I believe he got involved to the point where Shayna and Nia got the win. But this is they're getting the Intercontinental title treatment. They're not making the pay-per-view. They're going to be on the Friday before.
But is this the best Tamina run we've had, you think?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, I think so. I think she's shown the most passion for sure. She was on Talking Smack. I didn't watch all of Talking Smack, but I saw the clip, and she was reading them the riot act. She's ready. So
yeah, and good for her. I liked her stuff with Team Bad. I was a big, when that whole 3-way feud happened when they called up Charlotte, Becky, and Sasha. I was a Team Bad guy. I was with Sasha, but Naomi and Tamina, I was a Unity. I was with them on that one, so I liked Tamina at that point.
Yep. Also on SmackDown, Carmella beat Ruby Riott, and Tamina beat Reginald, kind of in this storyline. So.
Yeah, that was a disqualification, but I'll give a shout out to Carmella now. That was a great match, and she did it was like a wrestling mat exchange into her finish, the Code of Silence, I thought that was a very fun way for Carmella to beat that. And there's no chicanery. There was no, heel tactics here. The only problem I have with that match is that she's worn that outfit before. That's her Money in the Bank outfit.
Well, it's funny because I thought the Carmella did an interview recently talking about Billie Kay, and the tag team that they had for a very short period of time. Carmella was kind of under the impression that the character was over. The character she came back with the dancing and the stuff like that. Yeah. But she's back in that character now, so I guess that's the direction for the foreseeable future. But it was nice to see these two on the show, for sure.
Oh yeah, I'm a huge Riot Squad fan, obviously for Liv, but I like Ruby. They both can go. So and so can Carmella. She's gotten better over the years. She started off, Enzo and Cass's, just little, yapping dog sidekick.
Yep.
But she worked, so I'll give her all the credit in the world. 2-time Money in the Bank winner. How do you, she won the Money in the Bank twice in 4 days.
Also, that run with R-Truth that she had.
Yeah.
I mean, that was dance break stuff. That was great.
It was, and I like that if they're keeping this character with her, that's great, because if you go back to the Mella is Money, which is what I thought maybe her ring attire was insinuating, that's backwards for her, and that's not productive.
Right. No. Right. And then the other big match they had on there was Otis, Gable, Cruz, and Zayn and Corbin getting a win over Street Profits, Nakamura, Owens, and Big E. Corbin pinned Nakamura, so it kind of stayed away from all the major feuds there with Corbin and Nakamura. So.
Yeah, that was the one. I think that was probably if you took the 10 guys and listed all the possible outcomes of who could pin who.
Mm-hmm.
I think Corbin pinning Nakamura was probably on the bottom, if not the bottom two. So I was a little shocked that one happened.
Yep.
But maybe that could set something up. We really never had a feud with these two. So I don't have a problem with Nakamura and Baron Corbin at all. I think that would be a great match.
Sure. And then the other thing, and this was reported by the Wrestling Observer, is that Mia Yim was set to debut on SmackDown, as well as Aleister Black was supposed to read us another bedtime story, but the early segments went long, so they ended up cutting those out. So, but that's okay. They're probably both coming back next week.
Good. Yeah, it's probably Shawn Michaels again, right? Did Shawn Michaels have a problem doing that? Everything went wrong. Everything went long with him.
Though the thing is that even if those segments went long, that's what people love about the show. SmackDown, they love that continuity of storyline that goes throughout the whole show. That makes it really strong, and on a 2-hour show, it works really well. So I'm okay if they have to do this every once in a while.
Yeah, they'll be around. We're gonna get Aleister Black eventually. We're gonna get Mia Yim eventually. So I'm not concerned.
Yeah, no big deal.
I'm sure they're upset. Come on, God. I've been waiting this long. Come on.
Yeah. Well, let's get back. Let's go in our Wayback Machine here, our time machine, and go back to 2001. Today in history, May 10th, 2001, Vince McMahon announced that the XFL was ending, and you have a little something to share about this.
Yeah, this was the day the music died, part 2 for me. The XFL officially died. I was a season ticket holder, first and 10 Hitmen. Yeah, I went to 4 of the 5 Hitmen games, and that was a bleep show, Ryan. That couldn't have been more of a hashtag bleep show. Anything, just a couple. They were bad, Ryan. They were bad. You were freezing. It was on Saturday nights in February in New Jersey. It was freezing, so everyone's drinking to stay warm, and they were so bad to the point where they're down by like 28 at halftime. So the whole second half is the Giants versus Jets drunken brawl. There wasn't 2 teams playing there. It was just one, and the whole crowd was divided 50-50. So that was a lot of fun. And then, my favorite moment, probably the best moment, actually there's 2 of them. I guess in the second half, in the midst of a melee, there was a female that sat in our section that decided to flash the crowd. It was amazing. It was a lot of fun. She got ejected. And God bless her, she's a season ticket holder. She came back next week to a standing ovation as she walked down the street. And everyone's chanting one more time. So it was that was a lot of fun, and she was quite horrified, hoping that we would forget that, but we did not.
How could you?
Yeah, right. That was great.
So this is the great memories that we lost with the XFL in 2001.
Yeah. Charles Bulari was our quarterback, and he was just bad. He was just so bad. They finally pulled him for Wally Richardson. He was a Penn State quarterback, Wally. Wally's first drive, took him down for a touchdown. Place is going crazy. We're back in this thing. The season's still early. And then on the extra point, Polari had to hold the football for the extra point. He bobbled it. And the place went crazy again because just Polari just seems to be the bane in our existence.
Well, The Rock's got your back. He's going to bring the XFL back.
I can't wait. Let's go Guardians. Yeah, let's go Guardians. We're back in this.
All right, some other news that's going on. I want to run down the Backlash card. So we have Roman versus Cesaro, as mentioned. We have the Mysterios versus the Dirty Dogs, as mentioned. Bianca Belair versus Bayley. Rhea Ripley versus Asuka versus Charlotte. And Bobby Lashley versus Braun Strowman versus Drew McIntyre. They'll probably add 1 or 2 more matches in this last week leading up to it, but that's what we have so far. Al, I don't know about you, but the match that's kind of jumping off the page for me is Bianca and Bayley. I'm not sure which one kind of jumps off the page for you, but yeah, that's the one I like the most because Bayley wasn't featured on WrestleMania. She really hasn't had much going on since. She's been involved in the promos and stuff with Bianca, but yeah, I'm looking forward to seeing Bayley in a wrestling match.
Yeah, both women's titles. I mean, I'm a huge fan. Yeah. You know, I'm probably the biggest athletic supporter for women's wrestling there is, right? So both women's championships jump off the page to me. Yeah, Bayley, this is a feud that is continuing. Now, Bianca rolled over Bayley leading into WrestleMania. Yes. She got all her momentum after, going into the Royal Rumble, then eliminating Bayley during the Royal Rumble, and then, past that, going to Sasha Banks.
Yep.
But yeah, it's going to be fun to see Bayley back in the ring. These two, they had great matches together on SmackDown. I don't think they wrestled at a pay-per-view, but they had great matches on SmackDown. And it's going to be a lot of fun. And then the Raw Women's, the triple threat.
It's hard to know where that's going to go. Like Rhea Ripley, she needs her win over Charlotte, but I don't know. Charlotte seems to be on a roll.
With Sonya backing Charlotte here, you don't think, and going against the grain and going against Postman, there's no reason why Sonya probably would interfere in this match so Charlotte would win.
Yeah. Yeah. Now, on all of these matches, do you see a title change anywhere? Mysterio is
probably the best possibility. The Mysterios are a good possibility. Bobby and Roman's a lock.
I think
Bobby is. It's interesting with the triple threat rules, but I think he'll get it done. And then I'm missing the other one. What was the other one? Oh, Bianca. No, I got Bianca retained.
Yeah. I think they're mostly retentions, but maybe I don't know. Maybe the Mysterios get it done. Yeah. And then if they put Sheamus in a match, we'll see there too. So.
Oh yeah, that's right. Because he's got the thing going with Mansoor. Mansoor's involved. There's hashtag wild card. Mansoor
versus Carrillo versus Sheamus versus Angel Garza versus Drew Gulak versus Cedric Alexander and Shelton Benjamin on the WrestleMania Backlash pre-show.
Exactly. Yeah, that's got pre-show written all over it, unfortunately.
Sheamus versus everybody who didn't make WrestleMania's card.
That match would be incredible. That match would be so awesome.
Also on Ring of Honor today will be the Quinn McKay versus Angelina Love match. Quinn McKay has been kind of in this verbal feud with Angelina Love for 6-8 months, maybe even before the pandemic. I can't tell you how long it's been. But it's finally coming to a head, and Maria Kanellis will be on commentary. The results are easy to go find now because it's taped and whatnot, but that'll debut on Honor Club today, so people can go watch it.
Yeah, and then Angelina Love, one of the beautiful people, one of the best knockouts tag teams in history. So there you go. She's a lot of fun.
Yep, she'll definitely be involved in the Ring of Honor Women's Tournament this summer. So Angelina Love, that is. Yeah, probably Quinn McKay too.
Probably makes sense.
And in fact, early call right now. That's your finals.
Okay, yeah, that's fair enough. They got the feud going, at least in the semifinals, right? They're not going to put them in the first round together against each other.
Right. They'll be on opposite ends of the bracket. Okay. We'll see. So, okay, on Raw tonight we have Bobby Lashley versus Drew, of course, non-title. Then we have a bunch of multi-person matches. Well, 2 anyway. AJ Styles, Omos, Elias, Jackson Riker versus The New Day and RK Bro. Which Randy Orton on that team is so weird, isn't it?
There goes Raw ripping off AEW with these 8-mans. There we go. Yeah. So, and it's just when you said that, I just remember Kofi King. It was like 2 weeks ago. Oh, man, I hate that guy. It's Randy Orton. I think he was talking to Riddle. I was like, oh, man, I hate that guy. So Kofi and Randy still, it's still an open sore, even though Kofi won the last feud they had. couple years ago.
I think there'll definitely be a backstage interview with Randy and those three guys for sure.
Yeah.
So we'll see. I'm sure it'll be.
Well, I mean, that'll all depend on if Randy gave back the imaginary key to Riddle to open his mouth back up again. No, Riddle's mouth has been locked this entire time.
That's true. Could be. Yes. And then another multi-person in the women's division, Nia Jax, Shayna Baszler, and Charlotte versus Asuka, Dandy. That's fine. Dana and Mandy. Dandy. We can call that from now on. Yeah, Dandy. Perfect.
Dandy and Mana. They're John Smith. There you go. Dandy and Mana. John Smith.
And then Rhea Ripley's nowhere near that match, so she'll probably be doing commentary.
Yeah. You got Shayna, Charlotte, and how does that team lose? Like how does that team lose? That's like no.
Well, Nia and Shayna lose all the time with roll-ups and interference and stuff like that. But it's non-title. That kind of almost puts them very bad position. So.
Yeah.
Big news out of Tokyo, though. New Japan canceling Wrestle Grand Slam in Yokohama Stadium and Wrestle Grand Slam in the Tokyo Dome. Those shows were at 5:15 and 5:29. Okada was supposed to get his big title match against Will Ospreay at the 5:29 show. So this is a big deal. These were big shows. Yeah. A lot of people were going to be there, like 40,000 or so. So it's a big deal. They're postponing them. They haven't canceled them. They said that the tickets that people purchased will be honored when they come around. This is all as a result of Tokyo going back into lockdown because of COVID concerns. And in fact, New Japan had 7 talent test positive for COVID in the recent after a recent taping or whatever. So it's a big deal, and they don't have a show until the 5/24. So I don't know if those will get postponed or canceled, but at least there's a small break there for them to get through everything.
Yeah, that's 2 weeks. So yeah, they could clean up the slop. I have a calendar up there. That's what I was looking at. They can clean up the shop by then. I don't want to use Taz's phrase. It was just slow show. But
no, you're right. They could be through their they could be through COVID by then. So hopefully all the talent's healthy, and Tokyo is back in normal state.
Yeah, the key is right. You got to flatten the curve. It only takes 2 weeks, right? It only takes 2 weeks to flatten the curve.
Right. That's what we've been saying for a while.
Yeah.
WWE main event got a little bit of buzz last week. A little bit. Jinder Mahal making his big return against Jeff Hardy. He's got Indus Sher behind him. And then also Ricochet and Mustafa Ali on the undercard. I didn't watch the show, but I've heard, I've read reviews and heard things about it and stuff, and it sounds like that Ricochet and Ali needs to be on a main show.
Yeah, and how you do that is you take 4 feuds on Raw, and you can consolidate them in multi-man matches or multi-women matches.
There you go.
And you put them in one match. And then we can get Ricochet and Ali, and then we can get, Jinder Mahal's return with Indus Sher. Yeah, there's a method behind the madness there.
Yeah, and maybe they're getting ready to bring Jinder in because, whoever the champion is going to need new challengers. We can't play Bobby versus Braun versus Drew over and over and over. And Jinder at least has the credential of a former champion, so he could come in, and he could work that, or he could come in and work against Sheamus. So, whatever they need to do.
Okay, yeah, it'd be a little heel on heel, but okay.
That's the same problem you have with Jinder versus Bobby, but you need to bring in somebody to wrestle these guys.
Yeah,
DB is out there too, but we'll see.
Yeah, does Bobby have to win then? Is that where they're going? Are we figuring things out right now, like on the show, like at this very moment? Like, is Drew gonna win? And did we even see Drew and Jinder? Like, we didn't see 3MB explode right now, right?
Yeah, we haven't seen that. So maybe you're right. Maybe that's exactly what will happen. Drew has to win so he can face Jinder.
Yeah, I can see people. I want Drew. Yeah, it was John Smith. He wants Drew versus Jinder. Yeah, I can see the memes coming up now. 3MB explodes. That's exactly.
Yeah.
I can see the memes coming out now, and then poor Heath Slater.
Poor guy. He's still injured. Yeah.
Yeah, he's still injured.
So we have Ari Sterling, formerly known as Alex Zane, debuted on 205 Live last week. He's somebody who I saw live a few times working for Ring of Honor in Baltimore. He's got like a sharp sharp, sort of high-flying type of moveset. So he'd be interesting for that show. He's a tall 205. Big guy. And then Ikeman Jiro, or Jiro, or Eichmann Jiro, I can't remember how they pronounced it exactly, but he seems to have like more of like a comedy type of style that he brings to the ring, which is really weird for WWE. But he wears a coat the whole time he wrestles, like a sports coat. No shirt or anything, but he's got a sports coat. And it's yellow, and it's got his face all over it. So
you got to stand out. If that's what you got to do to stand out, Hunter. This is not on. This is not by accident. Hunter is in charge of 205 Live. That division is his. So if this is going to make that particular guy whose name we can't pronounce stand out, then give it time, and all of a sudden he's going to be fighting Kushida in a couple of weeks, maybe like a month or two.
Yep. There you go. Also, in as long as we're covering all aspects of the world of wrestling here, which is what we do on the show, CMLL will be running Arena Mexico with fans for the first time in over a year on May 21st. 500 people or so. So CMLL,
muy bien.
They're one of the two big companies in Mexico. You got CMLL and you got AAA. And CMLL is where Los Ingobernables was born. So it's a major promotion, and it's good to see them back with fans.
Yeah, that's muy bueno. Best of luck. I don't know how to say good luck in Spanish, but
yeah. AEW Dark tonight, their Elevation show. They've got Jon Moxley versus Danny Limelight on the show, and Moxley has a major match against Yuji Nagata. Danny Limelight is kind of one of those guys that they've been featuring a lot, and he's actually going to be having a feature spotlight interview segment with Paul White on the show. So it's going to be an interesting match, I think, where you have Limelight, who they're putting the spotlight on, but then you got Moxley, who has the major match this week. So the commentary is going to be kind of all conflicted and stuff, but I think it's a good one. And Limelight is a new guy as well.
The way you're presenting that, Ryan, it sounds like that if Jon Moxley didn't have his match on Wednesday, you're actually giving Danny Limelight a shot in this match.
I would never give him a shot in the match, but what I'm saying is it's interesting that they're featuring him. He could be kind of one of the crop that they're looking at, really kind of pushing on the lower end of the card. Maybe they're going to sign him, type of thing.
Okay.
I wouldn't give him a shot.
Yeah, no, I'm joking around, but it seems like his name is all over the place on Dark. He's there every week to put over somebody. He's the guy that he's like the Barry Horowitz of the inaction guys over there. So
right, the Brooklyn Brawler.
Exactly. I'm going to put this comment up here because John Smith has corrected me. Good luck in Spanish is Feliz Navidad. Thank you very much. Muchas gracias, John.
Well, continuing on into the mysterious world of voodoo. Broken Skull Sessions. The next guest is Charles Wright, also known as the Godfather, formerly known as Papa Shango. So there's a lot of ground to cover there. Kama Mustafa, the Supreme Fighting Machine. There's plenty of nicknames that Charles Wright has gone by. So it'll be a fun interview. A lot of territory to cover there, and a long-term relationship with the Undertaker. As friends and stuff. So I'm sure he's got good stories.
Yeah, he's the Bone Skull Gang or whatever, the Bone Skull Club or whatever the Undertaker's little clique was. His version of the clique.
Yeah.
Godfather's. And there's a reason he's a Hall of Fame. Everyone's like, well, how's the Godfather in the Hall of Fame? He didn't, okay, but he was more than just a guy. He was there. Same with JBL. They've been there for 20-something years, just constantly reinventing themselves and new characters and everything. So Godfather, whatever you want to call him, absolutely phenomenal. That's gonna be. I mean, he's got a great personality. He's gonna put on a show with Austin, and they're gonna have a lot of fun. So. Whether or not the Ho train will be in attendance, I guess maybe that's the reason why people tune in. Or maybe Austin will spit up some black stuff out of his mouth. You never know.
We can only hope.
Yeah.
And then Paul Heyman has nominated the ECW audience for the WWE Hall of Fame. So he went to Twitter to make that mention. So that's
if there was ever a crowd. Yeah.
We report on the hard-hitting news here.
Yeah, that's what the funny. You can go both ways on this with ECW. You either tuned in for the crowd and stayed for the wrestling, or you tuned in for the wrestling and you stayed for the crowd. Both ways worked, and that's why the people that love that show and attended those shows were incredible. And that that even goes for the 2 one-night stands.
Yeah.
When the Cena wins, we ride. That second one-night stand, they were just relentless with Randy Orton and John Cena that night, and it was absolutely incredible. Shout out to both of those guys for just being like, all right, I'm going to have to go through this, and they played it off great.
The funny thing is the picture that Heyman posted on his tweet was John Cena in front of the ECW crowd.
Oh.
So that's in any event. So I have one more topic for us to talk about, but we're going to do that kind of after the break here. I want to jump into our favorite segment of the show. So hope you're sitting comfortably.
Eva Marie.
It is trivia time. Not really.
Didn't mention her name once, right? You haven't mentioned her name once.
You did it 5 times before the show even really started. I felt like she was well covered.
Yeah.
Probably we'll see another vignette of Eva Marie on the show tonight.
And hopefully she will be well covered in that vignette.
So let's put up the score from last week. So John DeConnie got his point last week in the Daily Wrestling News show Gauntlet. He got 5 wrestlers he named that were on the NXT show that I gave him.
Yeah,
so,
Blackpool, UK Blackpool.
That's right, UK Blackpool. So today we are going to stick with the NXT brand of things. We're going to January 25th, 2020, Worlds Collide. Only one person's getting a point this week, so you have to name some wrestlers on this show, and you're going to go till you miss. And when you miss, that's it. So, and then you'll set the bar for the whole week. So let me bring up my card here. And the pre-show matches do count. So
okay, I don't know the pre-show match, but I know this is going to be a tough number for guys to beat because the main event was a 4-on-4 match. So you got Adam Cole, Kyle O'Reilly, Bobby Fish, Roderick Strong versus Walter, Fabian Eichner, Marcel Bartel, and Alexander Wolf.
Okay, you're at 8.
Okay. This was where Jordan Devlin won the Cruiserweight Championship. So you have Jordan Devlin. I believe Angel Garza was the champion. I believe Travis Banks was in that match along with Isaiah Swerve Scott.
Okay, you're at 12. Yep.
Rhea Ripley fought Toni Storm.
14.
I forgot about this match. So you have Trent Seven and Tyler Bate versus Tommaso Ciampa and Johnny Gargano. They got back together for one match against Mustache Mountain.
You're at 18.
That's 4 matches out of 5. Finn Balor and Ilya Dragunov.
What's that? Put you at 20? Or did I say 18?
Yeah, Finn Balor, and that's the card, and then whatever the pre-show was, so I'll just stop at 20.
Oh, you might as well take a guess.
I have no idea what the pre-show match was. 0 idea. I missed that show. I was working that night. I missed that show. So I have no idea what the pre-show match was.
It is Kaylee Ray versus Mia Yim.
Yeah, never in a million years.
All right.
Well, that makes sense, though. That makes sense because Kaylee Ray was stateside because she was in War Games. So
yes. So that the pace has been set. The pace has been set. Good luck, guys.
I don't set the bar, Ryan Joy. I am the bar.
Perfect. All right. Like I mentioned, we have one more topic. We're going to talk about NXT UK, but first I'm going to tell you about some of the great things that you can check out between the Eastern Observer and Minutes to Bell Time, starting with the Crucifix shirt at BuySlamClothes.com. This is a pretty cool design. It memorializes every finish on Monday Night Raw. You can get it for $20. It includes all the sizes. Shipping is free, and it's in the super soft style. And then on Friday nights, do check out the Primetime Rundown. Every Friday night at 6 p.m., join Joey Jarzanka, Ian Schreier, and Rob DeLuca for the Primetime Rundown. They take you through the world of sports, and the show kicks off at 6 p.m. on the Eastern Observer. And then the Essential Wrestling Podcast will be back tomorrow. Al Karl will be hosting alongside John Smith and John DeConnie. I will also be there with Gary Mahaffey. It'll be another week of updates and highlights in the world of wrestling. Coverage begins at 6 p.m. Al, I think it's episode 53. Is that right?
I think it's 53 as well. And like I said, we have a lot of picks to go over. Big weekend this weekend. with Steven Seagal and Under Siege on Saturday, and then we have WrestleMania Backlash on Sunday. So there's a lot to discuss. We do small recaps throughout the week, but then we pick and we try to play fortune teller. So let's see where it goes.
Yeah, and we blog all those picks on ProWrestlingPick'em.com. Al, this is the site that you own and that you operate and that you keep us all connected and our scores tallied for the entire year. ProWrestlingPick'em.com. You can create a league. You can join an existing league. You can join the Essential Wrestling Podcast League and play against us. I think Gary Mahaffey is on top right now, but he's going to lose all the matches this weekend. So we'll put him at the bottom of the pile before long, I think, for sure.
Poor Gary. It's funny.
The Daily Wrestling News Show. That's a show.
He finally does the pool, for every show, and he's in first place now. We're just piling on him.
Yeah, we're gonna bury him.
Exactly.
This is like Triple H and Sting all over again. The Daily Wrestling News Show. We're here every day, Monday through Thursday at 10 a.m. Sometimes we do Friday. If you haven't had a chance yet, do go check out Friday's show with Deshaun Whipple. It was a great interview. He runs the Whip Show podcast. He does seasons, so he'll do like a 5, 6, 7 episode run. He brings on guests. He talks about those guests and some of those times that he's had. I learned that he's like 6'5", 270 or something. He's a former wrestler himself. So I learned a lot on this show, and I think you will too. A lot of fun, high energy guy. So definitely check out that from Friday.
Yeah, he's good. We're definitely going to get in touch with him. We got to get him back on. I'm sure we're going to get him back on this show. But I want him. I want to pick his brain and see what he thinks. Going forward, picking matches and stuff. Yeah, exactly. High energy is a great phrase for to describe Deshaun. Great guess.
Yes, 100%. And then the Body Slam Brigade newsletter. This newsletter is going out to over 4,200 people now. Everybody's getting the weekly news and updates from me on Fridays. It's quick to read, email, broken up by company. And there's also always a featured story on top. This week was my favorite WWE opponents for Daniel Bryan, should he decide to stay. And all of them were in NXT UK, which is what we're going to talk about next. So do check out the Body Slam Brigade. You can sign up for free at bodyslambrigade.com. And I'm going to have a little announcement coming on Body Slam Brigade. A little something special coming in the works. So stay tuned for that. It'll be another way to consume it. So
I'm assuming it's going to be just a special newsletter on Eva Marie.
You know what? It's not going to be that. So I didn't want the 4,200 people I had to unsubscribe. I'll be down to one subscriber. All right. So you've been waiting for us to finish our, to get to our final topic here. So NXT UK. We had a great show out from them on Thursday, and I wanted to just kind of chat with you a little bit. I know, we have the big Gauntlet match next week, 5-person Gauntlet match. Zaya Brookside's in there, and I know she's the one you've probably got your money behind.
Oh yeah, I'm all in on Zaya. It's fun. These are fun. 5, very athletic, very entertaining women. They're going to put on a show. I'm actually really looking forward to this. As I mentioned already before, I'm a huge athletic supporter for the women's wrestling. If you get that joke, it's tough because they don't wear athletic supporters. So it's yeah, I'm really looking forward to this. Zaya Brookside, she's my girl. She's my favorite since I first saw her in the Mae Young Classic. The daughter of a WWE trainer, a UK legend. Look for a strong showing from Danny Luna. I know Danny Luna's vignettes with Flash and with Mark Andrews. I think a little push behind her. She's always a wild card because she's got Connors on the outside.
Isla Dawn.
What's that?
Isla Dawn's got a little bit of a momentum behind her too. So.
She does. Yeah, she was featured on Prelude, and she got hung out to dry by KLR at Prelude. So. And then I forget who the 5th person is.
Amelia McKenzie.
There you go. She got the win. So there you go. So then you got 5 women, all that's legitimate. Anybody could win this, and it would be a very credible opponent for Kaylee Ray. And like I say, notably missing from this match, Mika Satomura, who's Kaylee Ray's already beat, Piper Niven, who Kaylee Ray's already beat, and Effie Valkyrie, who Kaylee hasn't beat, but she just lost a huge match to Miko. Now, they announced this match before that great match between those two. So that was pretty much Effie Valkyrie's first non-in-action match. So I think she shined in it, but yeah, I guess she's just not quite ready for a title shot against KLR.
Yep. Yeah, so we shall see. We mentioned the 5 women. I think that it'll be really interesting to see who comes out first. It's a gauntlet match, so whoever comes out first, they'd have to beat all 4 of the other people. So that'll be tough for whoever it is. But Kaylee Ray has recent championship victories over Ginny, at least, and she wrestled Isla Dawn a bunch last year before the pandemic. So I'm looking for some new matches here, and we've got Donnie Luna, Zaya Brookside, Amelia McKenzie. I think one of those 3.
Okay, yeah. So I'm just thinking about that. I think Ginny will come out last. I think that's just I think that's, I won't say layup, but I think Ginny will come out last. I think we can do maybe like a Kofi Kingston or like whatever. I think Amelia McKenzie, I think she should grab the 1 here against Isla Dawn to pin Isla again, and that her run a little bit until she runs into Zaya Brookside at 4.
There you go. There you go. And then Zaya wins and takes it all home. Okay.
Exactly.
The other match coming up this week is Noam Dar versus Nathan Frazier in a Heritage Cup rules match. So Nathan Frazier, we're always going to talk about him as the guy Hunter stole, right?
Yes.
He's Ben Carter.
Jersey.
It's interesting. The Supernova sessions, Frazier was on there this week. And for the first time ever, I think they did a great job of explaining why his name changed. Frazier says, I changed my name to Ben Carter so that my mom and dad wouldn't find out I was training to be a wrestler. And then, that was Ben Carter over in the States. And now I'm back here and I'm on NXT UK and I really have nothing to hide. So I'm going to be Nathan Frazier. So there you go.
Yeah, he's a Jersey guy, Nathan Frazier, Isle of Jersey.
Yeah. As far as what happened on last week's show, 2 major notes I want to make. Ilya Dragunov and Dave Mastiff. Kind of a big match, heavy hitting, hard hitting we thought it would be. And hard hitting it was. It lasted less than 2 minutes.
Yeah.
Mastiff took an elbow to the face, and the match went on for a few seconds later, but then eventually the ref took a look at Mastiff's face and threw up the X, and that was it. So, not sure if that was planned. The show did run a little short, but...
Yeah, you haven't heard anything come out of the UK. Maybe Gary can shed some light on that tomorrow night. That's the reason why we have him on. He's over there. He's got easy access to all the stuff over in the UK. So Gary will hopefully do some investigative reporting and let us know if Mastiff is okay.
And then Kenny Williams and Amir Jordan had their it wasn't a loser leaves town match, but it was if Amir Jordan doesn't win, he leaves town. And in fact, Kenny Williams sent him packing, crying and all. So
yeah. So now what do we do here? Kenny Williams probably maybe get a Heritage Cup match. He can go into that type of thing. He can feud with other people as well. And then Amir Jordan, I guess, hop on a plane and he was welcome to 205 Live. It's
or throw on a mask.
There you go. Yeah, that's what they did with Christopher Daniels, right? All of a sudden he came out as Curry Man when he got fired.
Right. The fallen angel, Amir Jordan. So
yeah.
All right. Well, I think we've done the world of wrestling justice this morning, Al. Anything else you want to cover or talk about?
Yeah, well, speaking of Loser Leaves Town and speaking of the fallen angel, is Wednesday it? I don't think so.
Oh.
New tag team champions on Wednesday. I know you and Travis are going to get through tomorrow, but if Christopher Daniels is going down, I'm going down with him. Let's go SCU. Get those belts back.
I don't like that they're doing it on Dynamite. I wish that it was a pay-per-view match. I really
That's why I'm picking. Yeah, exactly. It's not a proper send-off for one of the greatest X Division, one of the greatest wrestlers. It's Brian. If we're ever on a game show together and they ask you who is my favorite tag team of all time, it's Triple X. Give me Christopher Daniels. Give me Low Key. Give me Elix Skipper any day. So I am a huge Christopher Daniels fan. And like I said, if he's going to go down on a Dynamite, I'm going to fall right on that Dynamite with him.
Yeah, I don't know. I'm really conflicted about this because there's enough that they can do with the Young Bucks without those titles.
Yep.
They could have the Young Bucks face Moxley and Kingston in a non-title match. And then SCU could carry the titles and compete against all the other teams. Because the Bucks are kind of in a blood feud, so to speak, at the moment. They don't need the titles there. But it seems
you don't. But you have their biggest show of the calendar year coming up, and the Bucks with the titles. That makes sense. Not SCU versus Jurassic Express. That is not. I love those two teams. This isn't a shot at them, but that is not double or nothing worthy. So,
right. Yep. So, unfortunately, I think we're probably all picking against SCU in this, but
Not me.
Well, we'll see.
Going
You
down
just
the
kind of
split.
laid it out that you can't pick for him and you can't pick against him. Basically, is what I'm hearing.
Yep.
So. All right, I think that's been our show. For Al Karl, for Christopher Daniels, for Dave Mastis, who has also fallen. Well, this is the Daily Wrestling News Show. I'm Ryan Joy. We'll see you tomorrow.
See Eva Marie tonight.